Chapter 29. Becalmed. For 3 days the ocean rested. The wind that makes the waves withdrew, and without their champion they declined to lumpy confusion, and then to expiring smooth-topped mounds, and then mere ripples, and finally to glass. For a day the sea rose and fell in the long wavelengths of magnificent swells formed far away, but in time the swells moved on, and we were left idle as a painted ship upon a painted ocean. The image from the poet Coleridge's The Rime of the Ancient Mariner is known to every schoolboy, but remains photographic in its clarity. We lay still as evening wore near. The sails were furled. The yacht did not pitch or roll or move in any way. If I sat quiet, we ceased even to float and seemed aground. The low sun cast the surface rosy to the starboard horizon, reflecting the shapes of clouds. A full moon rose, the goddess spreading her train across the sea in pale silver folds. There was no sound of fish nor bird, no wake to burble or halyard to slat. I lowered the boarding ladder on the stern, careful not to let it fall with a splash. Standing on the submerged rungs, I could put my hand in the water, which lay like oil. On the surface tension, tiny V's appeared, which I had not seen from the deck. They were insects, invisible in any other sea state, and I had no idea what they were or how they survived or whether they're always there. A calm far offshore where no schedule intrudes seems an unnatural thing. Calm is rare in human life, don't you agree? Pharmaceuticals promise it, and so does meditation and counting to 10. It remains elusive even in our dreams. Yet here it was, the ocean resting as if to renew itself in preparation for new storms and gales. That's spooky, but the calm itself isn't. Every rest is an interval. In music, rests are as important as the notes, and the space between notes carries much of the meaning. All I have to do is hum George Gershwin's fascinating rhythm, boo-ba-doo-ba-doo-boo, doo-ba-doo-boo, to see that the exuberance is all in the pauses. The bebop of early 1950s jazz often has no rests at all. That's the world of Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker. Our boat's patron, Thelonious Monk, heard the gaps between notes so clearly that his notes had to wait for permission to talk. Here, now, this moment, we're in the space between notes. Let's stay a moment. I was once becalmed 3 days offshore on a boat with no engine. It was before satellites and Grib wind files, and all we knew was that the high pressure off Bermuda tended to linger and make light air. We had none at all, and at first the crew were agitated, and then morose, and then resigned, and then content. I was, at least, and I think the other 3 aboard felt it too. The 4-hour watches lost their edge since there were no duties at all. We read books and told stories and made elaborate meals out of canned goods on an alcohol stove. We played cards and did nothing, and the tension between personalities dissolved. The calm was nobody's fault, and nobody could do anything about it. Life is ambition, and I've had my share. We want, and we get. I got as much from those 3 days of calm 40 years ago than any achievement thereafter. Now darkness comes. The sun has drowned in fire again, and the moon taken its place. The sky is watercolored in swashes of pink through which thin stars shine. Dinner was rice and beans, and when I threw the scraps overboard, they lay motionless and only slowly dissolved, falling unhurriedly into the deep. My clumsy movement to the rail had caused the yacht to rock, and some fittings to clank and clink. But now, as smoke rises straight up from my pipe, we are still again, stopped in time. It won't last, because there's an engine under my seat. Shall we turn it on? I know we will. The rest is over, and our tune plays on. All it takes is the push of a button to start the diesel. Well, 3 long pushes and some cursing, but eventually a roar comes and the exhaust sputters. It is still light enough outside when I engage forward gear to see the propeller swirl the water behind us as Thelonious wrinkles the bedspread of the sleeping ocean. It only takes 1,700 RPMs to make 5 knots, and below decks the noise isn't bad, and all the vibrations have long since been located and secured. We move through the night, refrigerator humming, lights ablaze, the electric wheel pilot steering toward tomorrow's dawn. We have resumed our course, but left something behind.